Hey there, welcome to day 77 of our Be a Better You annual challenge. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, and today we're talking about humor. I was trying to find something funny and I couldn't find anything, which reminds me that I probably don't personally have enough humor in my life, or laugh enough, or have enough fun these days. Getting old, but that means I should have more fun, not less fun. So today I'm going to share the 10 most effective uses of humor as hooks or to improve and create effective communication. Also, 5 different ways that you can work humor into your communication to make it, and the benefit, I guess, the 5 benefits of communication and humor. How humor and what humor, the power of humor in our communication, what it does to help us be better communicators. So let's talk about that first. First and foremost, humor works because of several things. Number one, it builds instant rapport, right? If you crack a joke or somebody laughs, you have automatically broken through that shell that keeps us apart as human beings. It also breaks tension. Have you ever been in a tense situation? Somebody's arguing, or a couple of people are arguing, and you're overhearing it, and one of them cracks a joke, and it immediately breaks the tension because it changes the state of everyone involved in the situation. Humor is an incredible state changer, in my humble opinion. It increases our memorability. When you share a joke, which is like sharing a story, people remember that longer. They might not remember the punchline accurately, but they'll remember how it made them feel. It enhances relatability. People who have the ability to laugh at themselves and at situations have the ability to, other people have the ability to relate to that. Oh, I had too much sneezing this morning. And then finally, it encourages openness and a further conversation, or a deeper dive into the conversation. It's an incredibly powerful tool that some people use so effectively, it's mind-boggling, and others of us struggle with it. But when we do use it and it works, it's incredibly powerful, and we think, oh, we should be more humorous. I know I should be funnier, that's for darn sure. So what are 10 ways and 10 types of humor that are the most popular and most effective in doing these things, giving us these 5 benefits: breaking tension, creating rapport, building relationships, creating openness and authenticity? Number 1 is the unexpected twist. And to me, this is a tricky one, but it's one of my favorites because it's like you're watching a movie and you're going along and you think you know how it's going to end. And all of a sudden at the end of a movie or a book, this happens. There's an absolute twist, and it ends up ending different than you thought. In a good way, different than you thought. It might be a humorous, funny way, but it's an unexpected twist to the plot. People either have the ability to do this or not with respect to jokes and humor. I was trying to think of an example of it today, and I was struggling because I was trying to think of an example from my life when there's been an unexpected plot twist. And the truth is, my life has pretty much played out, not always in a good way, but how I expected it to, which is extremely powerful and scary at the same time. Second, and this is probably the humor I personally use the very most, that's self-deprecating humor, where we make fun of ourselves or how we are because that's just the way we are in a certain way. So showing humility through humor is a really powerful tool. I share a lot of stories about my life and my past experiences. Some are good, some are bad, some are really just horrifyingly embarrassing and ugly, but I share them to build rapport, to show that I'm a real person that has real life experiences that run the gamut of possibility. And sometimes they're just funny as heck. Third, wordplay or puns. This is probably, again, one of my favorite. I probably use self-deprecating humor the most if I ever use humor, but I think you'd have a hard time finding very many situations where I use humor and am punny or funny. But I did hundreds and hundreds of idioms and shared the meaning of different idioms. And idioms to me tend to be wordplay or fun or puns. And so I guess I shared a lot of those, but I don't know if I did it in a humorous way. Sometimes I'd have funny props and things. 4, exaggeration for effect. Examples of this are when people over-dramatize or dramatize how big a deal something is. So for example, I've told you a million times, I never exaggerate. That would be an example of exaggeration for effect. Number 5, observational humor. Observational humor is really relatable because it's things that we see in our everyday life and people can absolutely positively relate to. This is a really popular form of humor in commercials, in marketing, in movies, because we can relate to it. And things that we can relate to, we feel connected to. And when we feel connected, we're more engaged. And when we're more engaged, we're more likely to do whatever it is that the uh, the movie or the commercial or the marketing wants us to do. Uh, the example I got was, why does every battery warning feel like a personal attack? I don't think that's very funny, but maybe I have a different sense of humor than most people. I don't think that it's a personal attack. Why does every siren make me want to call 911? Every time I hear a siren, or make me call my family members. My ex-mother-in-law used to do that. Whenever ambulance or sirens she could hear them in her neighborhood, she'd call all of us to make sure that everybody was okay, which I think is loving and wonderful. Number 6, callbacks to previous conversations. So this speakers do this a lot. They'll tell a part of a joke or a whole joke, and then they'll refer back to it in their speech with different references, because it makes it really, really powerful. It anchors it into the audience as something that they remember, and it keeps bringing them back to that story or a different part of that story. And it's an extremely powerful way to communicate and to really get your hooks in people, right? Number 7, sarcasm. Use sparingly and lightly, because sarcasm can often feel like meanness to the other person. So you have to be really careful when you're using sarcasm in humor. Now, I come from a family of very punny, sarcastic people, so I might use that one more than I am willing to admit. Number 8, pop culture references. References to famous movies or shows are really, really popular because they're relatable, right? And humor is relatable. An example would be, I planned on organizing my office, and instead I got sucked into binge watching The Office, right? The Office is a popular show, which I personally have maybe seen 2 episodes of ever. But it works in certain situations. Humor works in certain situations. There are places to use humor, and there are places to not use humor. If it's an emergency or a serious situation and lives are at stake, probably not the best place to use humor. Number 9, playing with social norms. So making fun of social norms, pointing out absurdities, and believe me, right now, at least in America, there's a whole lot of absurd stuff going on that it's easy and fun to point out. I won't go into it, but I lean toward doing what's right and being good human beings, not doing evil things. And we have lived under evil for a long time, and it's got to end. That's not funny at all, is it? But playing with social norms and making fun of that is interesting. And I guess an example would be, when you see somebody pressing a remote harder or pressing a button harder because the battery's going out in the remote, and they think that pressing it harder is going to make it work. It doesn't. You just have to change the battery. But that's a social norm, is that's a really common behavior for people, right? And then finally, 10 is personalized humor. Humor that is tailored to the situation or to the people that you're discussing and having a conversation with, or specific examples of humor that group can relate to. An example of that would be, I swear you must have a PhD in making the worst coffee on the planet. Maybe that's something you say to your spouse or your significant other, or the person at work. Everybody knows the person at work that makes the coffee actually works for I can relate to this now, because I remember I worked at a manufacturing business, and it had an automated coffee maker with the worst coffee in it, and everybody knew it was terrible. And we would joke about it because it was so awful. And all we needed to do was adjust the amount of coffee that was automatically dispensed in the coffee maker, because it was like that thick, sludgy tar type drink that you couldn't even stand to drink. So those are the 10 most common types of humor. Our action item today is to somehow, some way, find a way to work one of these 10 types or another type into one of your conversations or a communication that you're having, and see what kind of an impact it has, right? It's pretty easy with my granddaughters to use humor, I guess. If I take that back, I guess I'd probably use it every day. All right, if I can help you in any way, or if you've got any comments or concerns or questions about humor and communication, hit me up. Otherwise, I will, of course, be with you tomorrow with another communication topic as we dive deep this entire month into communication and the impact that it has on helping us to be a better version of ourselves. All right, have an awesome day, and I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow.